All right, so welcome to another episode here, and today we're going to take a look at Costco and see how well it's doing, along with maybe it's a buying opportunity or selling opportunity. So we're going to check this out, and I'll give you some of my personal thoughts and insights. Keep in mind, none of these are recommendations to buy, sell, or trade anything, just my own personal thoughts. All right, so let's kick things off as we get into it. Now, we always want to take a look at the chart kind of at a longer term basis, and that way, if you're more even of a shorter term investor or trader, you can see, hey, well, is the stock trending up? Is it trending down? How is it holding up? Is it strong? Is it weak? Is it sluggish? So as we take a look at some of these things, we can take a look at this on a monthly basis. And what we can see is this stock, from about the 80s, it was continuing fairly well at this trend line, and then it started to accelerate, right? So around mid 90s, started to pick up some speed. And then we started to kind of go around at this angle here, and now it's picking up some more speed here towards that tail end because people are buying in bulk, coronavirus, whatever the case is. It's really picking up some more speed here this last couple of years. So we're picking up some speed. So the question is, are we going to keep going at this accelerated path, or are we going to pull back more to this line average, or maybe continue back to a slower pace? So overall, the stock's been doing well and it's healthy, and it's continuing to press into these higher prices. So as you can see here, as we zoom in a little further, we're going on this trend. So over the last 5-7 years, we were going here, and now we've continued and we started to pick up some speed. So the angle has changed. So if you look at just the sheer angle of how that's moving, you can see the angle now is much different, right? So the new angle that we're kind of trading at, if you just kind of look at it right here, we've picked up speed on that acceleration. So this is a little bit of a concern, because remember, the further they stretch or the more speed they have, usually you'll get a stronger pullback. So anyway, so from a longer term perspective, the stock is doing well. There is volume there that's also coming in. So if you're looking at the volume, you can see there are some pinpoints of good volume that's picking up speed at different points throughout the last couple of years. And that stock's been doing very healthy and continues to move along. Now, if we start getting in a little bit of a closer view, what you can see is this stock right here over this last year, we had a little bit of trouble around that $400 price range, and then it broke out. So from there, we had kind of this little minor ABCD pattern. The stock has continued to push through that. So we went from about 350 to about 550, so quite a big increase here. So we had this pullback, and now we're pressing higher. So again, from a medium perspective, we've also been doing very well, but you could say slight little delay right now recently. So now let's go into kind of the more day-to-day action. So here's our little pullback that we looked at earlier. You can see the stock right here had a little pause, and then once we had that pause, we picked up some good speed. Right, we had some turmoil and choppiness recently, and right there, that's where we've got a little bit of resistance, right around the 560, 570 level. Support and resistance lines are not perfect. Remember, it's a range, so about between the 560, 575 range is where you're getting some trouble. The stock is attempting to press into higher prices, but you are getting a little bit of that pushback because it might be a little stretch, might be just the market overall as well. You're getting a little bit of a headwind here. So a few things to watch out for and some areas of concern is if the stock does start to pull back, okay, what you're kind of looking at is, are we going to start rolling over? That's kind of one thing. The next thing is right here. If we stay under this level and we start selling off from these highs from about 560, 570, and we start pulling back quite heavily, like into the 540s, 530s, that could also be a problem. The other level to kind of keep an eye on here, we have support kind of at this trend angle. And at this trend angle, if this breaks right here at about 550 on volume, and this bearish volume starts picking up speed, this could be a problem area to watch. Now, right now it's still holding. We're still holding okay. But if that breaks, that could be an indication where the stock is ready to pull back. It's kind of like right here, where we were going to the upside, and then it broke, and then we pulled back quite a bit. Now, we didn't pull back a ton, but we pulled back kind of to this blue line or level for now, and that could be right around the 550. And in this case, it could even go past the blue line. I'm just saying that, hey, when it pulled back on the blue line, that was still an 8 or 9% correction, 8.3% pullback, and it was still fine. But at those levels, we were quite a bit above kind of the moving average of about a 10 moving average. So now we aren't that far there. So that means this could actually pull back even more so. So how far have the pullbacks been in Costco? So if you look at some of these pullbacks, you can see that right here, we've come back to the orange line, which is the 55 moving average, EMA, or daily. And the stock has done fine then and pulled back. But you'll also see instances where this stock could sell off and just kind of really tank quite a bit. So it's not unheard of. So here we've tested in the past in October, previous Octobers, to this orange line, even this red line, and that was quite a bit of a problem. That was in 2020. And then when we start seeing a lot of this choppiness, this thing actually rolled over completely under those lines. And that's where we had a lot of the bearishness within that market. But other than that, that stock's been continuing doing well. From a longer term perspective, if you look at it, it's been holding up very well and doing fine. But here in the short term, you do have to watch out for the kind of this line right here. And if we get under that and it starts selling off, this part is going to be a little bit of a problem if you're a short-term investor or a trader. If you're longer term, it could be an adding opportunity anytime that stock gets to about 530, 510. And if you're thinking it's going to bounce off those levels and you're looking to hold maybe for the next few years, then it may not even phase you, because those are just small little blips in the movement of the even flows or the wave patterns that happens within the investing and investing world. So anyways, that's my personal thoughts. So again, shorter term, be careful, because you are right there at the top, 570, 575. You're right there at a little bit of a trouble spot. And then if it breaks that, that could be a problem. From a medium to a longer term, you know, this stock's still doing just fine. It's continuing to trend up. It may be a little bit overbought for a little bit. Even as a long-term investor, you might wait for maybe, like if you look at some of these months, if you look for maybe 1 or 2 red months, that could be a better buying opportunity. But overall, you know, it's been doing quite well. So the question is, you know, what's your time horizon and what's the outlook? So I hope that helps, gives you some things to think about and take. Truly appreciate you sticking with me, and feel free to check out some of the other videos as far as stocks and analysis that I have on this channel, or the other channel that I have regarding option trading. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.